Hello, I'm Phil Mullen, energy psychotherapist, proud to be a member of ACEP, the Association for Comprehensive Energy Psychology. I've made this video to assist people who suffer with OCD, Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, and to show how energy psychology methods may be of help. I am not selling anything. I'm not trying to persuade you of anything. I'm just offering this in case it is of help, in addition to any other form of help or therapy you may be engaged in. I've spent 45 years working in mental health services. My patients have taught me a vast amount. I'm very grateful to them, and so I'd like to give a little back. Of course, severe OCD is a serious medical condition. If you have severe OCD, please consult your doctor or a qualified and licensed mental health practitioner who has a good understanding of this condition. OCD is a very distressing condition. Some people with OCD are troubled by obsessive fears and feelings of horror and disgust and revulsion, for example, in relation to dirt and thoughts of contamination. They may feel they are engaged in a continual struggle to keep the dirty world and dirty people or dirty thoughts at bay, warding off dirt and germs. Or they may be troubled by intrusive thoughts that are very distressing to them. These intrusive thoughts may be of a sexual, aggressive, or religious nature. They are likely to involve thoughts of doing things the person finds particularly repugnant. They may be tormented by thoughts that they have, in the past, committed some terrible act, perhaps without awareness or memory. Or they may fear that they will commit such an act in the future. They may feel compelled to try to keep the objects in their world in a particular order, and feel very distressed and anxious if these are not. They may feel compelled to carry out compulsive actions such as washing and cleaning, or actions that strike others as absurd. Sometimes these compulsive rituals can be very elaborate. The person may fear that something terrible will happen if these actions are not carried out successfully and correctly. Sometimes the obsessional rituals are internal thought rituals, and the person may become endlessly tangled up in their own thoughts. The person with OCD may be tormented by doubt and indecision, unable to make decisions for fear that their choice is the wrong decision. They may be troubled by perfectionism, feeling that they must do everything perfectly, and feeling that there is a perfectly correct response or behavior or decision for any situation. People with OCD may be very anxious. They often feel they must somehow control their mind and their thoughts, and the more they struggle, the more they feel they fail, tangled up in inner torment. Many of us have these tendencies to a mild degree. Many of us have intrusive thoughts. They are, to an extent, normal. But if any of these patterns of OCD apply to you to the degree that they significantly interfere with your daily life and your enjoyment of life, then I know you are suffering. OCD is an utter torment. OCD reflects a state of great stress and a feeling of being in danger. People often find that their OCD symptoms are worse when they are stressed or troubled in other areas of life. OCD can become worse when there is increased stress or pressure at work, or when the person is struggling with too many demands and feels unable to cope, or when there is unhappiness in a relationship, or if they experience bullying or abusive behavior by neighbors, or generally when the person feels helpless and in emotional pain, or when feeling neglected, lonely, and their basic emotional needs not being met. Each of us has our own way of becoming stressed. Some of us develop other forms of anxiety states, or we become depressed, or we develop some other behavioral disorder, or an addiction. But for some of us, the response to stress and emotional pain is OCD. OCD is a brain state. This is very important to realize. It's a brain state. It is a state in which the brain is switched on to a state of registering danger, and the signals of safety are not registering. And so the person is locked into a continuously looping state of anxiety, obsessional thought, and compulsive behavior. One of the best books ever written on OCD is Brain Lock by Jeffrey Schwartz. It's very easy to find through Amazon or any good bookshop, and it is not expensive. It describes this brain looping process very well and also gives you strategies to combat it. Now, the conventionally recognized treatment for OCD is a combination of medication and a strategy called exposure and response prevention. Exposure and response prevention. This is based on the point that each time a person with OCD tries to fight, avoid, or ward off their fears, or engage in rituals to ward off anxiety, this only intensifies, perpetuates, and worsens the problem. If carrying out such a ritual, such as excessive hand washing or checking, brings momentary relief, even if just for a second or two, then this brief relief acts as a reinforcer of the anxiety and the behavior, and so the problem gets worse. What the person needs to be helped to do is to face their fears, look at them realistically and objectively, and not engage in the rituals intended to ward off the anxiety. Such approaches can be helpful, but sometimes, in severe cases, need to be carried out in a specialist medical unit because a lot of time and work is involved. It can also be helpful to explore the wider aspects of a person's life, particularly their relationships and the more hidden areas of emotional pain, including loneliness and sexual unhappiness, and the person's self-esteem, and perhaps hidden feelings of shame and guilt and anger and distress to do with sexuality. Sometimes traumas from the past, including sexual assaults or experiences of being molested, may have played a part. Each person is a unique and complex individual, and standardized approaches are not always very helpful. Now, I would like to tell you how energy psychology methods may provide additional help, and to take you through some simple energy procedures. In energy psychology, there are lots of different methods, but we work with the psyche and the body's energy system simultaneously, and we guide the client to tap or hold acupressure points, and other energy centers, whilst they hold certain thoughts in mind. And this helps to calm the brain the body, and the mind. If you're interested in the relevant research, go to the ACEP website. Just Google ACEP, A-C-E-P, and find the research page. One of the most important tasks in helping a person with OCD is to reduce their general stress and emotional pain. So let's do that now. And then we will focus in on your particular anxieties and worries. So I'm going to take you on a special sequence of tapping. The sequence can be important, and I'll also guide you with some words. So first of all, tap the side of your hand like this and say or think along with me, even though I have OCD, even though I'm tormented with OCD and feel helpless with my OCD and am stressed by my OCD, I completely accept myself. I accept my OCD. My worries are just my OCD. My brain has OCD and it keeps generating false signals of danger. It is like a faulty component on a car that generates false signals. It is like a faulty program on a computer, and I completely accept myself. And even though there may be other stresses and emotional pain in my life that make my OCD worse, I completely accept myself. Now, you do not have to actually feel you can accept yourself. Many people feel they cannot accept themselves. But just saying the words has a positive effect. Then go to your index finger, the first finger, the side of the finger just by the nail. Even though I reproach myself, even though I feel guilty, I completely accept myself. Then tap on the chin here. Even though I feel shame, I completely accept myself. Then tap gently under the eye, or you can do both eyes. Even though I'm anxious and fearful, I completely accept myself. Now, tap fingertips and thumb tips together like this in front of the forehead at what we energetically call the third eye chakra. All the things that have been painful to know and see and be aware of. Then tap your middle finger by the nail. All the dread within me, side of the middle finger. All the dread within me. Then tap the back of your hand between the knuckles of the little finger and the next finger, the ring finger. All the stress that has accumulated inside me. All the stress in my brain. And then tap on the ends of these collarbones here, right under your throat, the knobbly ends of the collarbones, letting all the stress flow away. And then tap the side of your thumb here by the nail, the outer side of the thumb by the nail, breathing a sigh of relief, letting your breathing flow, letting it go. And now just pause there. And now bring to mind whatever makes you anxious or worried, your particular form of OCD. Just bring it to mind. And now tap the side of your thumb, side of your hand again, side of your hand. Even though I have this obsessional thought, even though I have this obsessional worry, even though I feel a compulsion to carry out this obsessional action, it is just my OCD doing its OCD thing. It's just a bully in my head trying to scare me. It's just my brain generating a false signal. It's just different parts of my brain sending continuous signals to each other in a loop. It's not a real danger. It's just a brain state. And now keep thinking of what worries you. Keep telling yourself it is just a brain state whilst you tap the following sequence. Let your thoughts and emotions flow. Tap on the chin. And under the eye. Just a brain state. And the chin. Just a brain state. And then your middle finger by the nail. It's just a brain state. Then the side of your thumb, the outer side of your thumb by the nail. It's just a brain state. And then on the side of your body, under the arm, around the area of the bra strap if you're female, opposite the nipple if you're male, it's just a brain state. Then go inside the little finger, the baby finger, inside by the nail. It's just a brain state. Then under the nose, it's just a brain state. Side of the thumb again. It's just a brain state. Side of the eye. It's just a brain state. The chin. It's just a brain state. Under the nose. It's just a brain state. The collarbones, ends of the collarbones here, under the throat. It's just a brain state. Back of the hand between the knuckles of the little finger and the next finger. It's just a brain state. Under the nose. It's just a brain state. Inside the eyebrow. Just in the corner, next to your nose. It's just a brain state. Under the nose. It's just a brain state. Under the eye. It's just a brain state. Ends of the collarbones. Letting go of all that is troubling you. It's just a brain state. Now just rest your fingers on the collarbones, letting it all go. Letting the stress flow out of your brain. Letting your brain unlock. Unlock your brain. Letting it flow. Unlocking your brain. And just think, my OCD is healing now. Whatever its roots and origins, it is healing now. And then turn your hands into knuckles. Press the knuckles against the collarbone points. My OCD is healing now. Whatever its roots and origins, it's healing now. And now we will see if we can release the coding for the deep feeling belief of being in danger. That fundamental feeling of insecurity, of not being safe. So just rest 2 fingers together under the collarbones in the center, and 2 fingers of the other hand just a little lower on the heart chakra. And now think of a blue diamond just under your collarbones, just behind these upper fingers, a blue diamond with a silvery white aura. Do not worry if you cannot visualize it. Just close your eyes with that idea. Just for a few moments. We'll do this together. Now, whenever you are troubled by OCD, just tap the following simple, short sequence and avoid carrying out the ritual or obsessional behavior. Side of the hand, saying it's just my OCD, it's just my brain state, letting go of my OCD. Under the arm on the side, it's just my OCD, letting it go. Inside the eyebrow, it's just my OCD, I'm letting it go. Under the eye, it's just my OCD, I'm letting it go. And the collarbones, it's just my OCD, letting it go. Set yourself free from OCD. Of course, if any of this makes you feel worse, or if your OCD becomes worse, do not continue. See your doctor or mental health professional, and do not discontinue any medication without medical supervision. I wish you well in setting yourself free from OCD. Thank you for watching.